Welcome back. A week off felt like forever. I'm so glad to be back with you guys. We're going to start a new book called Washed Up by Payal Kapadia, illustrated by Robin Boyden. It's not as long as Night of the Spadefoot Toads, but it is a really good book as well. So we're going to be looking at three things while we read through this book. So we'll be taking little stops throughout all of our lessons to look at these things. And they are inferences. Inferences are when you take your best guess and make a decision based on what you've read. So, for example, if I said I had to stay home from school because I had a fever of 104 degrees. At lunch, Mom brought me some chicken soup. What can you infer about me, the narrator? You should be able to tell based on experiences that you've had or you've known somebody to have, is that the narrator is sick. When you're sick, a lot of times you have a fever, and a lot of people use chicken soup to help them feel better as well. And you, of course, should be staying home from school if you do not feel well. Well, if we ever go back, right? And then the next part is comparing and contrasting. We did this a lot with Night of the Spadefoot Toads and Hatchet and Shells with Michael, Ben, and Brian. And this is when you find similarities or things that are the same, and differences or things that are, well, different. And we did that a lot with those characters. We even compared characters in the same story, especially with Night of the Spadefoot Toads. And then with quotes are kind of like stealing. No, they're more like borrowing. When you borrow a sentence from the text to answer a question. So, like, one of the questions might be, what did it look like where Brian was in the Canadian wilderness? Like, what did it look like? And if you wanted to use a quote for that or something straight from the text, you would use a quotation mark at the beginning and at the end, and then you could type that exact same sentence. Now, one of the sentences, I have to look at it. One of the sentences was, leaning out over the water were birches. And birches are a type of tree. And so I use a quotation mark at the beginning and at the end because I'm borrowing that quote from what the author wrote. Gary, I can't remember his last name. But he wrote that word. So those are not my words, but I'm using his words to answer the question. So I have to use quotes. So we're going to be doing all three of those as we move through Washed Up. It's a really cool story. I'm excited to share it with you, and I hope that you like it as well. All right. So you can see there are 7 slides here today. Plus I'm going to read from the book. I'm going to read chapter 1 today. Yep. Chapter 1 I'm reading today, all the way to page 11. So hopefully I'll remember to stop at page 11. All right, so let's do a little bit noticing with the cover here. So what do you notice about the cover? Well, since I can't hear you because this is pre-recorded, I'm going to take some guesses. Some of you probably noticed a helicopter. There are also mountains. There are large trees. There's a beach. I would even say maybe those are palm trees. I'll put palm trees because not all palm trees are big. The beach. I don't see any people. That's something that I'm noticing. No people. It looks warm. I mean, most places with beaches are. I take that back. Michigan has beaches, and Michigan still has winter. But here, it looks warm. It looks like maybe those trees are making a forest. And then I'm not seeing much else here. So mountains, forest, beach, the water. I guess I should put the water, right? Water, maybe an ocean. That's what I'm guessing. I see light water and dark water, so I don't know if that's gonna play into anything. And then I think that's all I see. It's a nice blue sky, so it must be sunny there as well. So I just want you to take in that that cover right now, because the cover is going to help us quite a bit with the story. I really do like the story. All right, so two things that I'd like you to listen for: vocabulary words and the answer to this first question. So the first question is, what is similar, so the same, what is similar about the three families described in the text? And what is different about the first two families? So that's a question. Those are two questions that you'll need to answer on your seesaw assignment. So how are the three families similar? And then what is different about the first two families? So you think about the order of them as well. And then the vocabulary words that I'd like you to listen for are reality, civilization, vide, and ultimate. Reality, civilization, vide, and ultimate. Reality, civilization, vide, and ultimate. So as we go through, listen for those words, because we're going to do our vocabulary words off of that. All right, let's carry on. There's our first word, reality. So let me pull up the book and begin. So that was the beginning of chapter 1. I do want to show you that there is a table of contents. I already showed you the cover, so I'm not going to go back to the cover. But table of contents in the Library of Congress page. So it tells you when it was written. It was written in 2016, so 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago now. And it has 5 chapters in it. So you can see that this book is only a little over 49 pages long. So considerably shorter than Night of the Spadefoot Toads. So let's begin with chapter 1. Chapter 1. This is the Indian Ocean's best kept secret, an island so far from civilization you won't find it on any map, an island untouched by humans until now. Pop sensation Barry Blue was shouting out the last word of every sentence over the din made by the Channel 16 chopper she was traveling in. She was so excited she found it hard to stay in her seat. What better spot for the biggest, baddest reality show on the planet? Welcome to Washed Up! What Barry Blue said next was drowned out by the wind. Did you get a picture with her? Shen's mother asked. Leaning forward in her seat, she looks famous. Shen Lu bit down hard on his tongue. It wouldn't be appropriate to give his mother attitude, but she was clamoring for a photo without even the faintest idea who Barry Blue was. And everyone knew who Barry Blue was. She's a little glamorous for the middle of nowhere, isn't she? Commented Shen's twin sister May. She's not setting foot on the island, silly, said Shen, directing his irritation at her. She's the anchor of the program. Shh, listen. Thousands of families vied for the chance to be part of Washed Up, the planet's most talked about Survivor series, Barry Blue was now saying, and of all our applicants, 3 families showed that they have what it takes. I have the first contestants, the lovely Lus, here with me now. Smile, hissed Mrs. Lu as the camera trained on the family as she posed in a practiced way. The other 2 families, the Walpoles and the Garcias, are traveling by boat to the other side of the island, continued Barry Blue. She had the attention of the cameras again before they zoomed in on the sleekest speedboat slicing through the unended turquoise waters far below. 3 unknown environments await these families, and 3 survival kits. One with a mosquito net, others with a length of rope. Then there are tarps, matches, and knives for everyone. For 3 weeks, our contestants must rely on themselves and no one else. The winners get a book deal, a round the world book tour, and a generous cash prize. But, of course, to win, they'll need your votes and they'll need to make it out alive. And they will, right? She winked at the camera. So here it is, the island. Isn't it gorgeous? The island rose up before their eyes, an emerald green sea monster. There was a golden strip of sandy beach, a mountain wreathed in mist, and a lush jungle. Shen and May gasped. The island is the ultimate survival challenge for our contestants, said Barry Blue, batting her eyelashes as the helicopter dipped lower. Adapt, win votes, and win the contest. Don't, and who knows what might happen. Like she knows anything about survival, muttered Shen, but May silenced him with a look. The cameras were on them now as they alighted on a wind-whipped mountain slope, while Berry Blue waved goodbye wildly. You'd better watch what you say, whispered May, as both children took in the flying cameras orbiting the island, because we're on TV from now until we leave. Well, I was only about to say that down there it looks like a tropical paradise, cried Shen, his eyes dazzled by the sweep of ocean far below the mountain, the sun glinting off the waves. Down below, fresh off the speedboat, Mr. Walpole was about to say the same thing, but his wife beat him to it. Sun, sand, sea, she exclaimed. There's nothing like the simple pleasures in life. Oliver rolled his eyes. His parents vacationed at fancy hotels that had room service not only for dining, but also for treatments, pillows, and towels. What did they know about simple? The speedboat turned away, with the Garcias still on board, bound for the coastal mangroves. The Garcias watched the Walpoles, hot-footing the sliver-thin strip of sand searing in the midday sun, toward the cool shade of the rainforest. Then their boat rounded a bend, and they were all alone. You can see the Garcias back there in that boat. They dropped off the Walpoles, and now they're heading to another place. And that is page 11, so I'm going to stop right there. All right, so let's head back to here. We had our first word, which was reality, and it's on page 4. So let's head back to page 4 and find the word reality. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Okay, so reality. Let me get me out of the way here. Reality is on page 4. Oh, there it is. Took me a minute. My apologies. There at the bottom, it says, what better spot for the biggest, baddest reality show on the planet? Come to Washed Out. So what are some reality shows that you guys know? I think I only know of a couple, like The Voice and what's the other one that is like The Voice? This other American Idol. Those are really the only two I know. And I think there's one called The Great Race. The Great Race. I don't watch much TV, so I don't know a lot of reality shows. But reality shows when they have real people on TV doing real things, and they have to survive or make it through, depending on what it is. I guess there was the show called Survivor too, which sounds like this might be pretty close to. Okay, so reality. What does reality mean? What better spot for the biggest, baddest reality show on the planet? So, reality. Let me move myself back up here. Reality. It means matter. It can also mean real world and real. What else can it mean? It can mean actual and certain. Whoops, that's not how you spell certain. It can also mean, I wrote out some beforehand, like it is. It can mean, I already have real, right? Yep, real. A truth can mean truth. It can also mean presence, like I am here, so I am real, and I am part of this reality. So there's presence. Presence is just like being. It's just there. I don't know how else to describe it. So uh, being, we can put being, and then I also have the way it is. The way it is. There we go. Like it is, the way it is. All right, and what kind of word is this? It's kind of an idea here. So do you remember what type of word an idea is? It is a noun. Remember, nouns are person, people, places, things, or ideas. And I'm going to put idea right underneath of it so we don't forget. The root word is base, or the root word is base. The base word is real, and reality is kind of the only. You could have realities, so like a lot of sci-fi movies have like different realities, or like a different. What are they called? Slipping my mind, but like when I am here, but I'm also somewhere else is all sci-fi, right? So, I forgot to draw my lines too. Let me do those real quick. And then I need to use it in a sentence, and I need to come up with some antonyms. So antonyms might be fake, not real, wrong, invisible. What's the word I'm looking for? Like when it's ghostly, because ghosts are not part of reality. Oh, I guess a lot of people think that. So those would be some good antonyms or opposites. Let me switch to a red box, and then I need to write a sentence using the word reality, and I'm going to say the reality show was all about being the best singer. Remember, reality show is like real right now, like The Voice. I'll make that bigger for you, and we'll carry on. Next word is civilization. Civilization was on page 4 as well. So let's go to civilization. Civilization, there it is. I see it right there. This is the Indian Ocean's best kept secret. An island so far from civilization you won't find it on any map. An island untouched by humans until now. So civilization, what do you think civilization means? Well, since I'm basically talking to myself right now, well, to you, but you can't participate with me, civilization includes people. People have to be part of civilization, or groups of people. We have all different kinds of people in Grand Rapids, and that's what makes our city such a great place to be. It is part of the civilization, the Western civilization that we call it, where we have us in the United States. So groups of people. We also working together is part of it, because if civilizations don't agree, then that can cause arguments and war. Development. There is this idea that creating bigger and better cities is developing the civilizations that we live in. Older civilizations had less technology than what we have now. And then towns could be part of civilization, and cities, and homes, and buildings, and anything that has to deal with people being together. So let me connect all of those for you. Oops, those are red. I don't want those to be red. I want them to be black. All right. So civilizations. And it's plural, so the base word is civil. There we go. Now I've got black. And there we go. Civilization is a noun because it's a group of people, right? So people is a noun, so it is a noun. And because it's a group of people, and the base word was civil. We can have civilization. We can have civilizations. That's another variation on it. And then a desert island would be an antonym or opposite. Alone would be opposite. Or no people at all, like a desert island. Those would be some decent antonyms. Let me put those in red since they are the opposite. And then I'm going to type a sentence, and it's going to be a world without civilization would be difficult to live in. Cavemen really started civilization, I suppose. I guess it depends on what you think. But there we have it. All right, next word is vide, and that is on page 6. So let me go to page 6, 4, 5, 6. And I remember this one was at the top of the page. Scroll, please. There we go. Thousands of families vied for the chance to be part of Washed Up. So it's a reality show. So a lot of families had to apply, and they vied for a spot on the show. So they were chosen. Now, when they're chosen like that, they have to compete. So vied means like compete. It also means like a game, or there we go, or a challenge. It also can mean a fight, not like necessarily a fist fight, but like a fight against somebody else, like a challenge. It can mean a struggle, depending on what you're doing or what you're vying for, right? A pose would be like against someone. So I guess I should put against. And play. Somebody might vie for a championship in a soccer tournament, right? Did I do against already? I did. Did I do contest? I did not. So it's like this whole thing, this whole reality show is a contest to see who's going to win. And even to get on the show, it was a contest to be the best family for the show. So here are the words, the synonyms. There's vies, if it's happening now. We can also have a vie is the base word, and I think you can have VIEING. I think I'll have to look that one up, but I'm pretty sure you can have vying. It looks weird though. So if we're looking at opposite words, we might look at words like antonyms would be together or teamwork. Another one might be it is oh, I spelled vying wrong. I knew I did. I looked it up. VY. It's one of those words that changes. VYING. Vying. I can put a group of people here, like working together. What's another way of working teamwork? I got that. Cooperation would be another one, like working together. I kind of already said that, but these would be some antonyms. And then put that in red for antonyms. And then this is a verb, so it's something that they're doing, like you're challenging somebody. That's doing, so it's a verb. And make that big for you. Oops. Make it big, please. And then my sentence would be, I vied the swimmers vied in the meet for the championship. All right, that one will work. Period. Make sure your sentences have periods and capitals. And let me make this bigger. All right. And then we have the last one, which is ultimate, and that's on page 9. And ultimate is on page 9. I think 9 is here. Let me just double check. Load faster, please. 9. All right, ultimate. There it is. The island is the ultimate survival challenge for our contestants, said Berry Blue, batting her eyelashes as the helicopter dipped lower. So ultimate. This island is the ultimate survival challenge. So what does ultimate mean here? It can mean best. It can mean greatest. Whoops. It can mean highest. There's a bit of a lag on my computer, I'm noticing. Extreme. It can mean max. It can mean most. It can mean incomparable. Incomparable. And it can mean unmatchable. So just like ultimate means it is the absolute best. It's like it's the most, the highest, the greatest, the extreme. You can't get any better than the ultimate, right? So let me draw my lines here in black. And this is, let's come up with some antonyms. So it would be the worst, comparable, least, saddest, right? Boring, not worst. Oh, I already did worst. I wanted to say worst again. Lowest. Those would all be great antonyms, and I'll put those in a red box. And this is an adjective. It describes something. So let me stick adjective up here. If we go back to the text, it describes the island. The island is the ultimate survival challenge. So the island is ultimate for this survival challenge that they're going to compete in. And I think I just need to write my sentence. So the ultimate prize will be $100,000, and that would be exciting. So I'm gonna put an exclamation point behind that, right? Who wouldn't love that? And then I will make that big. And there is really only you can have ultimates, the only variation on this word. So there you have it. You'll want to use these in a sentence, so make sure that you are using them correctly. Your sentences should have capitals and periods. Please make sure to do that. And then make sure to answer all of the questions on Seesaw. All right, good luck.